Hello, welcome to my channel, All My Stitches. For today's video, I would like to go over some crochet basics to get you started. So, let's begin with the equipment and materials you're going to need. Crochet hook. For today, I'm going to be using this 6mm J crochet hook. This is a Clover Amour crochet hook. I like this kind of crochet hook. This has a tapered hook. And let me see, I've got over here somewhere. This is an example of an inline hook. This is also a J6mm crochet hook. You can see the neck of this hook really cuts in deep there. And they call this an inline hook because the head of the hook here is in line with the body of the crochet hook. They also usually will have a pointier tip here. So that's the difference between how they look. I like these tapered hooks because my stitches get caught here. And I really don't care for that. But you can use whatever hook that you like and whatever yarn you like. I'm using this 100% acrylic yarn. It calls for a 5.5mm crochet hook. It is I Love This Yarn by Hobby Lobby. This color is Stonewash. And I think it says, where does it say? Yeah, right there. 4-weight yarn, worsted weight. You might need some scissors to cut your yarn. I got this cute little holder here that houses my darning needles. This is my favorite one. It's got a little hook on it. And this one's straight. And it's kind of got like a dull tip. This one is too, but these are real tiny, but they came in the package. I don't use these, but they stay in their little home here. Yeah, this one here is my favorite, and I've got one in each spot that I like to crochet at. And then I got this little container here. And look, more darning needles. I don't use these, more in there. Stitch markers. I thought this was cute, but I've never used it. Get the little butterfly. Different stitch markers. These come in handy with some projects you might work on, so it's kind of nice to have some stitch markers. And those are your supplies that you might like to have. And with that, we're going to get started. Let's talk about with how you hold your crochet hook. So I hold my crochet hook like this. This is referred to as a knife hold. Other people might hold their crochet hook like this. This is a pencil hold. So get comfortable holding your hook how you like. Like this is how I hold mine. With my hand over the hook. Relaxed. And then some people will hold it like this. I've tried crocheting this way because I've seen videos where people are crocheting like this, and I have a really hard time holding my hook like this. So it's kind of funny. And they're just crocheting away, man. They're going to town, just doing their thing, holding it like a pencil. And I mean, like, this is how I write, but I can't crochet like this at all. So those are different ways to hold the hook. Next, we're going to talk about getting the yarn onto the hook. How do we get started? Let me check something here. I wonder if that's less shadowy. Maybe. Okay, so to get started, you need to make a slip knot. And to make a slip knot, you're going to take your yarn. This is the end of the yarn here. And I'm holding that in my left hand, my right hand. And I'm going to fold the yarn like this, making a loop. Now, make sure that you leave plenty of yarn tail here. Okay. Make that loop. I've got plenty. I mean, more than plenty. But I always like to have a good amount of yarn at the end. Okay, because you have to weave that in later. You don't want your work coming undone after you've put in a lot of time in that. So we're going to reach in with our pointer finger and our thumb. Hold this down with your left hand where you made the loop. I reach in there and I pull the yarn up and pull that through like that. Take your crochet hook, put that right through the loop, and now we're going to just cinch down on the loop. Cinch it down right on top of your crochet hook. Right around your crochet hook. And there we go. Let me get this situated here. Pull out some yarn. Okay. Let's talk about how you're going to hold your yarn. Because we've got our yarn on our hook now. We talked about how we're going to hold our hook. You get that comfortable, whichever comfortable way that feels for you. When I hold my hook like this, I can also hold my yarn that's on my hook, so it, is not wiggling all over the place. With my left hand now, I take the yarn and hold it like this. I'm sort of holding it between these two fingers here for the tension. Some people will wrap this around their pinky and then bring it up and hold it. Maybe that might work for you as well for when you make your stitches. Because you want some tension here. It helps to control the movements of your hook a little bit better if you've got some tension on the yarn. You don't want too much tension. And it's something that will get better with time. So here what I've been doing as I was talking is making what's called chain stitches. This is the first stitch that I'm going to show you how to make for your crochet. These chain stitches will get used throughout all different times of your crocheting project. Sometimes there's a chain 2 at the end of a row or a chain 1. Sometimes you have to put some chains in between stitches of a pattern. So in the beginning, your chains that you're going to make will create your foundation for the project that you're going to make. And most every project that you're going to make will have you making a certain number of chains to begin that pattern. So for now, what we're going to do is we're going to chain just any random number of chains. Let's try chaining 12. So to chain, make a chain, you're going to take your crochet hook, wrap the yarn over the crochet hook, and pull it through that slip knot you made. That's one chain right there. Let's repeat that process. Bring the yarn around your hook and pull it through the loop on your hook. There's another chain. That's 2. 3, 4. As the chain gets longer, go ahead and instead of holding at the bottom, take your hand and take your fingers and hold up a little bit further on that chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is what your work will look like. For now, these are just chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right there underneath that hook there. Do not count the loop on the hook. This is not a chain. This is just a loop on your hook. Okay? So let's get started with making some single crochets. When you've got a foundation chain like this, or, well, let's just call it foundation chain here. And you're going to start out with some single crochets. Normally, what you'll do is you will place your first single crochet in the second chain from the hook. So you count 1, 2, insert your hook, yarn around the hook, and bring up a loop. 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both loops. You've just made a single crochet. Let's try that again. Find your next chain stitch. This looks wonky, doesn't it? Right there where that yarn thread is. Right in there. The yarn is around my crochet hook here. I'm going to use the neck of that hook and just go ahead and bring that yarn right through that chain. I've got 2 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2. Let's try that again. In the next chain, insert your hook, capture that yarn with the hook neck there, bring through the yarn. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. I've got 2 stitches left. Can you see that? 1 and 2. This is the knot there at the very end. Let's get those last 2 stitches. It's a little bit hard working through the chain because there's not much substance to it. So it'll get a little bit less fiddly once you get those initial stitches made. These are what the single crochets look like. Aren't those cute? Okay. To begin your next row, chain 1. Again, put the yarn around your hook and pull that yarn piece through the loop that's on your hook. You're always going to have a loop on your hook. Okay? And with saying that, here's a good pointer. If you need to put your work down because you've got to go cook dinner or you need to take care of something else and you're just done crocheting for a little while. Okay? Pull up the yarn. Make a big rabbit ear. And that way your stitch won't fall out. If you're going to be gone for a very, extended period of time and maybe you're a little bit worried about that yarn getting pulled out, what you can do is just take a stitch marker. Let's pick this, we'll pick the blue one for the blue yarn. pop the stitch marker right in there. And now nothing's going to happen to your stitches. Okay? Your stitches will be good. They will be just fine. When it comes time to starting the work back again, you need to put your hook in. Put your hook in so that the yarn, your working yarn, is pulling from the front of the crochet hook. And then that way, you'll know that your yarn is in the correct position for you to begin again. So let's pretend like we just ended our work with that single crochet. Okay. Chain one and turn your work. Now, I like to turn my work like I am turning back the page of a book. This way. And that way the working yarn is behind your work. Okay. So we're going to keep working on some single crochets, and we're going to insert our hook into this first stitch right here. The top of that stitch, and the top of your stitches look like this. They're like little hearts or little V's. You see that? That's the top of your stitches. Okay, and when you're looking at it from the side, it's kind of hard to see that top of the stitch. And this is important because some patterns will have you only insert your hook into the front loop or the back loop, but you want to go in both the loops, both those loops. You want to capture the entirety of that stitch. Okay. So insert your hook into the first stitch, bring up a loop, yarn over, capturing the yarn with the hook neck there, and pull through both loops on the hook. Insert your hook into the top of that stitch, bring up a loop, yarn over, pull through both loops on the hook. I need to get some more yarn here. Okay. I'm just going to make these stitches. You're going to make the stitches with me. We will make these stitches together down to the end. You see already this is getting easier to hold than when you start out with the chain stitches. Okay, this last stitch is kind of goofy, but it's there. Pay close attention and don't let it get away on you. Okay, you got to capture it there. I will get you and I will crochet you. Do I have both? No, I don't. There we go. Okay, I got the front and the back loop of that stitch. Bring up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. There you go. Look at us go. So I'm going to go ahead and end the video there. So you go ahead and keep practicing your stitches, this single crochet. Remember, at the end of each row, you're going to chain 1, turn your work like you're turning back a page of a book, insert your hook into that very first stitch, bring up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay? You keep working on those stitches. I'll see you next time. We're going to learn some more stitches. We'll learn how to do the half double crochet, and we'll learn how to do the double crochet. So remember, folks, you've only got one life to live. Make it a good one, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.